40% of people drop out of college at some point, including 60% of all men. They look at the world, they look at the landscape of the economy, they look at the cost of college, and they're like, nope, not for me. I'm going to do something else. Today, we're going to ask, is finishing college worth it, or should I consider another path? What's going on, everybody? My name is Keaton. Welcome to the Institute of Men YouTube channel, where we are trying to build, form, and strengthen all men from a Christian worldview. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel by hitting that subscribe button down in the corner of the screen. Today, we're looking at whether or not we're asking the question, should I finish college? If you've listened to my podcast on Spotify or Google Podcast or on Apple Podcasts, you know I've talked about my experience with college, where I have been a college dropout and I have been a college graduate. It took me 13 years to finish my undergraduate degree. I did 3 years of college in 3 years, took some time off, tried to go, and then ended up finally finishing this year. Actually, of May of this year, it's 2023, I finished college. And so I know what it's like to be a college dropout. I also know what it's like to be a college graduate. I know what it's like to have a ton of student loan debt as a single person. I know what it's like to have student loan debt as a married man. And we always have to ask, we got to weigh the cost. Is college worth it? And here's my answer. Before I give you my answer, let me say this. Don't take what I say as gospel. Don't weigh it with other people. Consider it for your situation, because what I'm going to say is, I'm going to say, yes, you should finish college, but then in the second half of this video, I'm going to say, no, you should not finish college. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you reasons why you should finish college and reasons why you should not finish college. The reason you should finish college is because you want to learn how to think. Originally, college was set up so that you would go and learn how to think, how to make decisions, how to lead. Originally, college was all about the liberal arts education. You would go to college and you would study a core curriculum, and everybody did this same curriculum. You didn't start picking a major until mid 1900s. And according to the Princeton website, a liberal arts education challenges you to consider not only how to solve problems, but also trains you to ask which problems to solve and why, preparing you for positions of leadership and a life of service to the nation and to all of humanity. So the primary reason to go to college is not to get a job. The primary reason to go to college is to learn how to think, to make decisions, to lead. It assumes that your aim in life is not merely to get a job so you can have 2 weeks of vacation, a steady salary, and health insurance. College is meant to teach you how to think so you can lead our nation, lead people, lead organizations, whatever you do. That's the purpose of college. If you're going to college just to pick a major so that you can hopefully get a job, you're probably going to end up with a lot of student loan debt and still go into an entry-level position that you could get without education. Now, there are some degrees that are more beneficial than others. Do not build a bridge if you don't have an engineering degree. Please don't try surgery if you don't have a doctor, like a medical degree. Those are fields where you're like, yes, go into school for engineering, go into school for the sciences, the STEM things. But one thing to consider, not all degrees are created equal. You can pay $80,000 for an engineering degree. You can pay $80,000 for a basic business degree. Your entry-level salary is going to be vastly different. If you're going to business school just to get a marketing degree so you can get a job in marketing, I'm going to say you're better off just getting some work experience in marketing rather than taking on that whole burden of debt. Because again, the purpose of college is to learn how to lead, how to think, how to make decisions. That is its primary purpose. So if you want to make the most out of your college education, what you're going to want to do is, one, work really, really hard. Read all of your course materials, but then you're also going to want to pick a lane that makes sense to be in college. If you're going to college to study art history, you're probably making the wrong decision. If you're going to college to study engineering, to study the liberal arts, to study history, things that are going to lead you into paths of leadership, that's a good use of college. If you're going into the sciences or technology, that's a good use of college, but not all degrees are equal. The liberal arts degrees, which pick a right school, because you might end up with liberal arts that are more woke than traditional liberalism. But you're going to study history, literature, writing, philosophy, sociology, economics, some psychology. And if you're at a good institution like Hillsdale, you're actually going to get some Christian theology as part of your coursework, because what they're trying to do is formulate a worldview in you so that you can make good decisions. So if you want to go to college, should you finish college? Is this debt load? Is this education? Am I putting in the effort to learn how to think, to lead, to communicate? If you're doing those things, absolutely go to college. Another reason to go to college is you are forced to do something tremendously difficult. 60% of all men drop out of college. A lot of it is because of financial reasons, because it's really expensive, but it's also really, really difficult to stick with something for that long. College will force you to learn the hard work of diligence, the skill of never giving up, of persevering, of tenacity, of late nights, of doing what needs to be done in order to accomplish and to meet a goal. And one of the primary motivating factors for going back to college was I noticed is I could get 75 to 80% of the way done with something and then stop. So what I had great initiative. I could work really hard most of the way, and then I would stop. I had a trail of unfinished projects, unfinished ventures that with some reflection, I realized, oh, I got this habit when I dropped out of college. But what I was able to trace was I got most of the way and then didn't finish. So part of the reason I went back to college was to get that out of me. I did not want to spend the rest of my life doing things most of the way and then stopping. I wanted to learn the diligence necessary to see something to completion. That's another reason to go to college. You just learn how to finish stuff. And that is a skill in and of itself that's really, really hard. And a lot of people don't have. So if you want to go to college, should you finish college? Whether you are a college dropout, whether you are currently in college or you've never gone to college, should you finish college? Yes, if you're going to college for the purpose of learning how to lead, how to think, how to write, how to communicate, how to make decisions, and if you're willing to learn the skill and the hard work of just finishing, that makes college worth it. If you are going to college just so that you can get a job, I think you're going to be wasting your time. College is stupid expensive. Stupid expensive. There are $1.77 trillion in student loan debt right now. 1.77 trillion. That means it's an average of $35,000 per person. So when you get married, that means you and your spouse are going to have $70,000 on average of student loans. If you pay the minimum payment on that amount of debt, it's $600 per month, every month for 10 years. 10 years. And that doesn't even factor in interest. That's just a flat line division. When you throw in interest, it's more like 15 years, $600 minimum every single month for more than 10 years. And when you factor in interest, you're going to end up paying about $110,000 for a $70,000 loan. If you're hoping just to get a job from college, go ahead and skip it. Instead of doing the college route, is go into a field that is really hard physical labor, takes a lot of skill, and pays well. I'm talking like the technical trades. Pick up welding, electrical, carpentry. If that's not for you, do video and photo. Those careers pay a ton of money. When I was in high school, if you went to technical school, you were the dummies. You couldn't go to college. Now all those quote dummies, they're making over six figures without the debt, and they're really enjoying their life. You don't need to go to college to do that kind of thing. You can just pick skills that, welding, electrical, film, photography, those skills work in any economy. It doesn't matter if there's a recession. Those are skills that you can use anywhere. The other reason to not go to college, if you're just going to go to college and skate through and not try very hard and not learn to think, that's not a reason to go to college. You should just stop wasting your money. If you're not going to work very hard at your classes, if you're just going to go get wasted and party and do all that kind of thing, get your college experience, well, you're going to waste your money getting wasted. There's no reason to do that. You're better off just going and getting some work experience. There is really one reason to go to college. You want to learn how to think, to lead, and to make decisions, and to create a worldview for yourself that allows you to enter positions of leadership that helps keep our nation and our states in good order. I think as men, we're kind of looking around wondering well, I look at the prospects of going to college and it doesn't seem like there's much payoff there. I don't want to just sit behind a desk. And the leadership, they've been there forever, and I don't know if I could get into that, and I just don't know what to do. Okay, I think that okay, you're a man, I'm a man, and it's time for us to step up and take responsibility for where the current state of the world is. And I think it is time, whether we go to college or not, to start self-educating so that we can start to put our nation and our churches and our families back together. I think we need to do the hard work of giving ourselves a worldview, not sitting on our tail ends, just doing the bare minimum to get by, watching Netflix, playing video games, and keeping up with our fantasy football scores, while current people in power just make a mess of everything. If you're tired of the way things are, somebody recently said, that our current president, our leadership class, is a reflection of who we are. And yes, absolutely, that's true. And so if we don't like the way things currently are, and then it's time for us to do something about that. Going to college to learn how to think and create a worldview and make decisions is a great step, so you can go be some of the people who help make our country a better place. Or if you don't want to spend all the money, at least self-educate. In the link below, I'm going to have a bunch of courses, places where you can take classes for either free or for less than $20 per month. I'm talking places like Theos U. Harvard has some free courses. Hillsdale, which is a personal favorite, has a bunch of free courses. They're all down below so that you can get skills and educate yourself in a worldview. You can also start to read the really good books, read the classics, read the hard books, read something beyond, rhinoceros success. You can do things to develop a worldview that you would get in college, but you can do it for $100 a month at a bookstore and through online courses. What I'm trying to get at with this whole episode is there's been a switch that you go to college to get a job, and men have been going to college to get a job to realize they hate the job and they get burdened with debt, and they're just feeling beat down. So they're like, I'm no more, I'm not going to do that at all, which is why 60% of men have dropped out of college. But they're not going on to self-educate themselves to make themselves useful in the world and to help protect what's good, right, and true and precious to all of us. I'm one of them. I'm like, I'm with you. And I think that we need to take a stand or do something different to alter the way our world is. We don't need just jobs. We need leaders. We need men of upright character. And you used to get that through a classical education, the classic liberal arts education. So you can go to college and do that, or you can self-educate, and it's going to start to make our world a better place. But just don't do nothing. Don't just do nothing. Don't just drink too much. Don't just play fantasy football. Let's do something.